What's up, everyone? We're back. I'm Dr. Shah.
Dr. Maxfield.
And we have a very special guest. You've seen him before. Introducing
Dr. Cassell.
All right. So Dr. Cassell, also a dermatologist, and these two have been working on one of the most exciting projects and something that's going to be super beneficial to our entire audience. So we're super excited to introduce
ScriptDerm.
That was so corny. Wow, that was completely unplanned. But yeah, so ScriptDerm, this is what we had kind of been teasing out very subtly. If you follow in the podcasts or in the live, sometimes we'd bring up that something was coming soon, coming this summer, and this is it. So ScriptDerm is our way to connect you to effective prescription ingredients through a board-certified dermatologist online that's convenient, accessible, with high quality and an extremely affordable cost.
Delivered directly to your door. So we're talking now, starting off with just simply tretinoin being available through the platform. We're going to be talking about how to get tretinoin online. Here we go.
Here we go.
Here we go.
So there already are ways to get tretinoin online, but what blew me away about what they built and what they've been iterating on over the past year is the different core values that Script has. So let's talk about the pillars of what makes ScriptDerm different from what else is out there.
Right. So here are the 5 problems that ScriptDerm solves and became our 5 core pillars of the platform. First is effectiveness. Like if you've listened to us, you know I am extremely obsessed and kind of extremely aggressive about effective ingredients. If your ingredient doesn't work, you shouldn't be using it. So all these ingredients and prescription ingredients shine in the world of effectiveness. Next is quality. This is not only quality of the product, the formulation, but also the quality of the care you're getting. Then comes accessibility. We'll talk in depth about why this is very accessible for you, how this compares to other ways to get the ingredients. Then comes affordability. This is actually one of the most unique things and one of the, I think, biggest innovations. And like, what do you call like a light bulb idea? Inspiration. Like there was something very novel about what we realized about how we actually interact with you and how that's going to save you money. And then the last thing is safety. And although safety right now for tretinoin may be fairly straightforward, as we pair effective ingredients to solve your skincare concerns, like safety does actually become a very important thing.
So why start with tretinoin? Like what does tretinoin do? Why are we always talking about it? Talk about just quickly the benefits of tretinoin for those of us who don't know.
So he said, what does tretinoin do? The question is, what does tretinoin not do? And that's why this has been an ingredient we've been obsessed with. If you watch our videos, we always bring it up with some reluctance because it's difficult and not everyone can get it. But it's the most effective ingredient for acne topically. It is the most effective ingredient for pretty much any aging skin concern topically. And therefore, from my perspective, if you can use it, you should probably be using it.
Completely agree. Tretinoin, anti-aging, anti-acne, texture, sun damage, everything, right? It's just an incredibly effective ingredient. It's got 70 years of data. No trendy ingredient you've ever seen that has as much data as tretinoin has. So it has that stamp of approval. But let's talk about quality and the quality of the ScriptDerm products and like what goes into these tretinoin formulations that could be different than what's available out there right now.
So the quality of the tretinoin, we basically tested this tretinoin to make sure that one, it's exactly as what we say it is. So the concentration on the bottle matches what's actually in the product. It's got great supporting ingredients. You've heard these guys talk about niacinamide ad nauseum. Great product. It's tretinoin compounded with niacinamide, and the carrier is one of the best carriers I've ever felt. So very high quality product. Very excited about it.
The other thing that I noticed when I was looking online, because we did this sort of exploratory thing of looking at what else was available out there before we were shooting this video and before they even started working on this project. And you can get tretinoin online, but some of it's coming from the United States, the more reputable companies, and then some of them are coming from who knows where. This one is manufactured in a facility by a pharmacy in the United States. The second thing is it's in airless packaging. We know that tretinoin is a very unstable to both light and air, and so it's in an airless, opaque packaging. So all of those things, I think for me, when I was looking at this, I was like, these make a big difference to me because not only do we know it has the percentages, we know that it went through stability, but also it's in the right packaging, and it's coming from the right places.
And then the second thing is the aesthetics. So while all of that like speaks to how effective it is, how far we've gone to control what we can to make sure it works when it gets into your hands, like Dr. Casal said, we actually very thoughtfully picked out an aesthetic vehicle, because we've talked about versions of tretinoin, and there's some like Altrino I've talked about. I'm like, oh, I love the way it feels. It's like prescription effectiveness meets over-the-counter elegance. That's what we tried to match with this, so that when you're using it on your skin, whether you have normal to combination skin, whether you have oily skin, like this will sit nicely and play well with the rest of your skincare routine.
Let's talk about accessibility here, because I think this is really the important thing. A lot of people are like, yes, I want tretinoin. You've convinced me that I should get on tretinoin. We all use tretinoin, right? And then the problem is like, you can't get it. You either have to go see a dermatologist in person. You could try to make an online appointment, but it's not really clear what it's going to cost you, all of that, right? So talk a little bit about what you were thinking about, because I know this was part of like the biggest part of the project, was thinking about how do we make it as few clicks as possible, as clear as possible about what you're going to get and how quickly you could get it and how available it is just nationwide.
So basically, I found when you go online to look for tretinoin, if you want to get it through a teledermatology provider, it's exceedingly difficult, and it's also complicated and not transparent. So you go to a lot of these websites, you're unclear about what you're paying for, how the process is going to work. So we tried to simplify that as best as we possibly could. So if you go to our website, ScriptDerm.com, it's real easy. You click Get Started, fill out a brief questionnaire, upload a picture, pay, and that's it. We try to make it as streamlined and easy for you guys as possible, as opposed to these other companies where it makes it much more difficult.
I'll first and foremost say, if you can see a dermatologist in person, please see a dermatologist in person. That's by far the best option. Like, I'm never going to say otherwise. We tried to make this as a reasonable substitute where you are seeing a board certified dermatologist who is reviewing your information and then helping get the right ingredient, the right product for your skin. The amount of work that goes into this is unreal. And like, you don't get to see it, which is probably fair, and it's definitely not something you want to be a part of. One of the main desires here is to get this into everyone's hands. And a part of that is getting it to all 50 states, which is the best we can do. We just cannot get this to other countries. But to get into all 50 states was an insane hurdle. We have actually gone very far and we're very close to getting there. What was that experience like to try to get this for everyone watching?
It's extremely difficult.
It's like the understatement of the year.
Yeah,
And
extremely
expensive,
Yes.
by the
Yeah.
way. Because every state has different laws on like telemedicine online, prescriptions online, and nightmare to set up.
We work with a pharmacy that's licensed in all 50 states. We're trying to increase access to all 50 states. We're trying to hit that threshold, but the laws are always changing. So we're always reviewing the laws, making sure that it works, and also staying compliant, because that's the most important thing here. If you go visit our website, you can see which states we're currently operating in, and we're hoping to push that boundary to all 50 soon.
And then also when it comes to accessibility, it's really not just, being available in multiple states and being easy to use the platform, which I think those are some of the most important things to me, but also thinking about, people, the wait times to see a dermatologist could be 3 months, 6 months, and you already know you want tretinoin, right? You've done the research yourself, and you still should see a dermatologist who's going to say yay or nay to make sure that it's safe and effective for you. But just skipping all of that, I think, makes a big difference for people.
I think that's one of the biggest barriers is a lot of people can't get to see a dermatologist, whether it's geographically too far, the wait times are too long. There are a lot of barriers here that we're trying to break down and make it really, really easy for you guys.
Just pure anecdote here. I like small town. I like small communities. It's kind of a product of that. But for the people I'm around on a day-to-day basis, the place I was practicing in the last 2 years, when we opened my doors, I was literally booked January to January for new patients, meaning that I had no new appointment slots for an entire calendar year, which is wild. And I know it's not the case for everyone, but if it's you and you're like, oh, I wish I would like to use tretinoin, like I have acne, waiting a year to start that journey or even start that conversation with your dermatologist, the reality of it is that's not possible, and that's not a good option. So we wanted to overcome that for those of you who do struggle with those crazy wait times that we know comes with a specialty.
Now let's talk about the affordability pillar that you have here, because I think that this is probably the most interesting thing about Script. And I think probably for me, like just kind of as somebody who's been watching them work on this, I tried to do my own research on this, and I'm online. I'm like, okay, what does it cost to get tretinoin online from these other companies that are out there? A lot of great companies that are out there that sell tretinoin. It was incredibly not transparent. Like, it took me hours just to figure out what they were selling, at what size, at what price, what fees were hidden in there. They would say, $30 per month, but they would send you a bottle that was meant to last you 3 months. So now you're paying $90 for that bottle, but you also have like a $20 consult fee. So it says $30 per month when you click on the website, you think that's what you're checking out for, and then you're getting charged like $110. To me, like as a consumer looking to get tretinoin online, was super confusing. So I think this is probably one of the most interesting things that they built. So talk us through a little bit about like how you were cost comparing and what benefit ScriptDerm is going to add here.
When I shop for a product, like I just want to know how much it's going to cost so I can bookmark and budget for that part of my life. And so we wanted to give you just like a one complete price for everything, front to back, A to Z, as they say. This is what you pay so that you can live your life and budget accordingly.
So if you choose to use ScriptDerm, you're going to pay one flat fee. That's going to include your consultation, your medication, free shipping, and basically we've bundled it all together to make it really, really easy and transparent for you guys.
So when you go to this website and the price that you see, that's the price that you're going to pay. There's no other hidden fees in there. You're not paying anything extra. It's not like a miniature sized bottle. You pay what you get. When you get the next bottle, you pay the same amount. It's going to be exactly transparent. And I love transparency. I hate going through these things where you go through this really long survey only to find out you're paying a lot more. This is outside of even like prescription medications online. There are a lot of other platforms like this where you're going through the funnel and then you have no idea what you're going to pay. You spent in the last 15 minutes filling out a survey and putting all your information and address in there. And then suddenly like it's like double what you had budgeted for. So transparency to me is huge, and I just don't know why a lot of platforms do it. Some platforms do it better than the others, where it's like pretty clear what you're gonna pay, pretty clear. But some like you don't even know until you've already sent your photos in and that you've gone through this whole process, and then you find out it's out of budget for you or it's way more expensive than the other platforms that are out there. So I love that element of this.
Part of that is like they're counting on you being emotionally attached at that point. You've gone through so much work just to like explore this option that you're not going to back out at the end. Conversely, we have the opposite approach. Like we know you're educated, we know you're familiar with the product, and we actually trust that you know your skin to a decent amount. And so we're like, okay, well, here is the price. If you feel like it's worth it for you, let us try to just expedite this to get your information to the board certified derm. Now, here's the actual most interesting thing. I think about this whole lift, and I don't know who had this epiphany. I'd like to think it was me, but it probably wasn't. This whole thing is probably him. This whole thing though actually hinges on you as our community, because every time you see an ad for another company, every time you see a sponsored video for another company, you're paying for that. You as the consumer are paying for their advertising because they have to allot a large portion of their budget to marketing. But we were like, you know what? Like we have a decent sized community, and if we just put this out there and get the word out organically, we can take all of the money that we would normally spend on marketing, take that cost and like translate that into savings for you. So we're going to operate with a tiny marketing budget relative to most anyone else, and all of that cost that would go there is just going to disappear. And that's how we're going to try, one of the ways we're going to try to help keep this at a very low cost while still having the highest quality product available for you.
So as long as that continues to work, as long as you all continue to take a chance on them, the more they're able to do this and pass those savings on to you. So I think that that's amazing, and very little marketing that you'll have to do in order to support that.
This is the least expensive way for you to get tretinoin, and we're always going to continue to try to improve that.
Finally, if you've been following for a long time, this is probably always going to be the most important pillar to me, which is safety. Core pillar of Remedy, my brand, is do no harm. And I'm always thinking about how do we not harm people's skin? How do we not harm the environment? That's like the do no harm impact of a brand. But safety in Script is working with board certified dermatologists. So why is working with a board certified dermatologist or having the prescription written by a board certified dermatologist, why is that important when evaluating someone's skin?
Tretinoin seems straightforward. Everyone here kind of knows the ingredient. And if you're not pregnant, it's probably going to do well for you, barring irritation. But this is just the beginning of the conversation and really the beginning of the SKU. And so as we anchor on effectiveness as that first pillar and first problem, it only can be coupled with safety, because ingredients, especially prescription ingredients, have a tremendous amount of upside, but because they have a strong action, they also have a strong reaction. And so the safety and downside can also be significant significant if it's used by the wrong person or in the wrong way. Now, board certified derms, they only treat the skin. They have like a doctorate and then a postdoctorate degree in terms of their training and how to take care of the skin. And so just by using that, we're really anchoring on just, I guess, the most experienced and the person with the most amount of time and training just to get these ingredients into your hands so that you can use them appropriately.
Right, because not every red bump on the skin is acne, and not every dark spot on the skin is melasma. And so knowing what you're treating and knowing that the ingredients that you're getting are safe and effective for you are super important. So having a dermatologist be part of that equation for them was super important, and that's super important core value to me, because if you get the wrong medication, yeah, sure, you came to get tretinoin, but if you have something that you shouldn't be using tretinoin for, it's really important to know that and making sure that we're not causing you more harm than we are having a good benefit on you.
As a platform with a commitment to using only board certified dermatologists, we realize that that costs quite a bit more. So back to our point about marketing, we have saved that cost in the marketing to be able to still make it highly affordable while still seeing a board certified dermatologist.
So we have oriented you to ScriptDerm and Tretinoin. I'm super excited because I truly believe this is going to transform, countless people's skin purely because they'll be able to use and have this ingredient. But this is just the beginning of the journey, and that's the most exciting part. Again, the whole goal of this is to just bring you effective, safe ingredients, high quality, at an affordable cost, at a very convenient way. With the prescription world open to you, like anything's possible. Like you want to talk about hair loss, great. You want to talk about melasma, great. You want to talk about acne, great. You want to talk about non-acne medical skin issues. Like that's all in the future. The sky is the limit, and I'm super excited in terms of where this is going to be 5 years from now.
I'm super proud of them. What they built is amazing. Go definitely check out the website at scriptderm.com. It's incredibly easy to use. It's very quick to get your tretinoin prescription. And if you're wondering, which is the number one question we get at Remedy, is how do you use a remedy for dark spots with tretinoin? We have so many of you. Even part of this conversation was they were working on this tretinoin thing behind the scenes. I launched a remedy, and so many of the comments were like, I'm using tretinoin, but I have dark spots. How do I use remedy for dark spots and tretinoin together? You can use remedy for dark spots 5 nights a week, tretinoin 2 nights a week, or you could flip it depending on which ingredient you want to focus on more. But tons of people that are using remedy are already using tretinoin, so it's a super good combination to use together. So super proud. I know what it took to build remedy. There's so much that went into it. So much that went into building ScriptDerm. Like if you're not going to be using tretinoin, or maybe you're outside of the United States, just leave them a comment congratulating on them on what they built. It's really amazing to see what they have, and can't wait to see you all using them, getting them in your hands, and spreading them to your friends. Because like Dr. Maxfield said, this business plan for them only works if you all share it with your friends, because that's how they're going to save the cost to keep the cost low for you.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for checking us out. Thank you guys for both having me on your channel. Check us out at scriptderm.com. Let me know what you think.
I'm kind of getting sentimental, but like, as you can see, this is kind of like this dynamic interplay and journey along with us. And it is kind of cooperative and collaborative, like across the camera screen. So I think that's a very interesting thing in how you're impacting us. And then we're trying to also impact you vicariously through this relationship. So thank you so much. We're super honored to have been a part of this journey with you and to have you along with us.
All right, we'll see you all in the next video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Check out Dr. Casal on Instagram, and we can't wait to see you get tretinoin.
We'll see you next time with glowing skin.